We have set up an artificial intelligence to explore the question, should children be banned from airplanes? Today, two sides will present their views. One arguing that flights should be a peaceful experience, free from noise and disruption. The other defending children's right to travel and the importance of inclusion in public spaces. Here's how our debate will proceed. Opening statements, argument development, rebuttals, questions and answers. Don't skip ahead, watch the entire exchange and decide for yourself in the comments who made the stronger argument. If you're interested in the topic of debates, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and take part in the subscriber-only poll to help determine the winner.
Few things test human patience like a long-haul flight with a screaming baby in the next row. While no one questions a parent's right to travel, it's time we ask whether that right should override the comfort and peace of hundreds of fellow passengers trapped in a metal tube for 10 hours. Airplanes are not playgrounds. They are confined, high-stress environments where people seek rest, silence, and often recovery from jet lag or work trips. Infants crying during takeoff, toddlers kicking seats, or children running down the aisle may seem like minor inconveniences, but for business travelers, people with sensory sensitivities, or those recovering from illness or grief, these disruptions can be unbearable. And unlike in any other public space, you cannot simply leave or take a break. You're stuck at 30,000 feet. Many flights now offer child-free zones, and the popularity of these areas reflects growing passenger frustration. This isn't about being anti-child. It's about recognizing that airplanes are unique spaces where disruption has amplified consequences. Families already have access to family-friendly airlines, early boarding privileges, and strollers at the gate. But others deserve spaces free from chaotic outbursts, food spills, and tantrums. The skies belong to everyone, but maybe not all at once. Perhaps it's time we think about separate flights or stricter policies that balance rights with realities.
Airplanes are not luxury spas, they are public transportation. And just like on buses, subways, or trains, all members of society have the right to travel, including families with children. Suggesting a ban on children, even selectively, sends a dangerous message that the inconvenience of others outweighs the dignity and rights of families to move freely. Yes, children cry. Yes, they sometimes act out. But so do adults, snoring loudly, getting drunk, hogging armrests, or playing videos without headphones. Singling out children as uniquely disruptive ignores the broader truth. Flying is rarely comfortable, regardless of who's sitting nearby. To scapegoat children is not only unfair, it's discriminatory. Travel is essential. Parents fly for work, for family emergencies, for weddings and funerals, just like everyone else. And children fly to see grandparents, receive medical care, or immigrate to safer countries. Should they be excluded because someone might be annoyed? Instead of bans, we should advocate for more thoughtful design, family rows, soundproof pods, flexible seating. Progress doesn't mean exclusion, it means inclusion with smart solutions. A tolerant society finds ways to coexist, not to segregate by decibel level.
Air travel has transformed from a rare luxury into an essential component of global mobility. And with that transformation comes the need to consider passenger experience seriously. While the skies should be accessible to all, including families, it's equally valid to prioritize the psychological and physical comfort of other passengers, particularly on long-haul or overnight flights where rest is critical. Children, by nature, are unpredictable. No amount of parenting can always prevent crying during pressurized cabin changes, tantrums in confined rows, or fidgeting in tight quarters. For passengers traveling for work, medical reasons, or sleep-sensitive conditions, these disruptions can lead to real consequences. Missed productivity, heightened stress, or even health risks. We ask adults to wear noise-canceling headphones or be patient. But why is the burden always on the silent traveler, not the loud one? Imagine another scenario. In a cinema, if a child repeatedly screams or runs around, they're asked to leave. Why should the rules of shared space be different at 30,000 feet where escape isn't an option. Airplanes are unique in their physical and emotional constraints. They demand a higher level of behavioral predictability than, say, a bus ride across town. There's also a hidden class dynamic in this debate. Premium passengers pay extra for comfort, but often still find themselves next to screaming toddlers or bored schoolchildren. Should someone who's paid thousands for rest or privacy be forced to endure disturbances simply because families deserve access? Access does not mean immunity from consequence. Moreover, suggesting that banning children sets a dangerous precedent ignores a key distinction. Planes aren't banning children from society, just from specific flights or cabins. Many airlines already offer business-only flights, red-eye routes with minimum age policies, or quiet zones. These aren't segregationist. They're segmentation for mutual benefit. The market already responds to preferences. Formalizing these preferences could improve satisfaction for all parties. Finally, this isn't about villainizing children. It's about acknowledging that some environments, like silent retreats, theaters, or high-altitude cabins, aren't always suitable for very young kids. Offering alternative travel windows, child-free flight options, or designated family-friendly routes would respect both the needs of parents and the rights of others to rest, focus, or work without constant interruption.
Those advocating for child-free flights often frame the debate as comfort versus chaos. But this view dramatically oversimplifies both the experience of flying and the purpose of public transportation. Airplanes are not exclusive retreats, they are vehicles that serve all demographics, including the youngest among us. Proposing to ban children, or families, from flights prioritizes adult convenience over civil equity. Let's begin with the practical. Parents often have no alternative. Many families travel for reasons beyond vacation, relocation, medical appointments, court dates, or funerals. International families must fly to maintain connection. To suggest they wait until their child grows up is both unrealistic and cruel. Moreover, the idea that children are uniquely disruptive ignores the reality of adult misbehavior. On any given flight, you might encounter loud phone calls, invasive cologne, seat recliners, drunk passengers, or armrest monopolizers. Children are not the only, or even the worst, cause of discomfort on planes. Singling them out reflects a cultural impatience with the presence of the young in public spaces, rather than genuine concern for peace. Emotionally, we must also consider the message such exclusion sends. If we start by banning kids from planes, what's next? Restaurants, concerts, public transport. Creating child-free zones might temporarily reduce noise, but it reinforces a worldview in which tolerance is conditional. And that makes public life colder, not more civilized. We should also remember that children are not static nuisances, they are people learning how to behave. Flying exposes them to new environments, cultures, and routines. These early experiences can foster adaptability and awareness. Shielding others from these realities may feel comfortable, but it erodes the shared human experience. Finally, solutions exist that benefit everyone. Airlines can improve seat layouts, install quiet zones, offer better entertainment options, and provide sensory-friendly seating. Investing in design is more sustainable than exclusion. We live in a diverse society, and flying should reflect that diversity, not reject it.
The argument that banning children from flights is discriminatory misunderstands the core issue. This isn't about excluding families from public life. It's about recognizing that airplanes are a uniquely constrained environment. Unlike trains or restaurants, you can't step outside for a breather at 30,000 feet. The stakes are different, and so are the consequences of disruption. It's true that adults can also be disruptive, but airlines already have policies for dealing with intoxicated or aggressive passengers. Children, by contrast, are immune from accountability. When a toddler screams for hours, no one intervenes, because we've normalized the expectation that others must simply endure. That double standard is what this debate aims to challenge. Framing air travel as a basic right for children ignores the rights of those around them to travel in peace. Comfort is not a luxury. It's a necessity, especially for travelers with disabilities, PTSD, migraines, or chronic fatigue. Suggesting that they must tolerate hours of distress so families can avoid inconvenience is not inclusive. It's inconsiderate. Moreover, the idea that flying helps children learn and grow is noble, but it shouldn't come at the cost of 100 others' well-being. Education and exposure can happen in more forgiving environments. If the child can't manage the journey without distressing others, perhaps it's not the right time to fly. Rather than view restrictions as exclusionary, we should see them as opportunities for balance, through separate cabins, designated family flights, or quiet routes. Inclusion doesn't mean everyone must be in the same space all the time. True inclusivity designs for everyone's needs, not just the loudest.
Advocates for banning children from flights argue that airplanes are uniquely stressful environments and therefore require higher behavioral standards. But this argument assumes that stress justifies exclusion. If we began banning anyone who might cause discomfort, we'd quickly find ourselves excluding people with disabilities, elderly passengers, or anyone with unconventional needs. Discomfort is not a reason to erase diversity. Yes, children cry. But so do adults in turbulence, pain, or grief. Human noise is part of public life. The problem is not children, it's unrealistic expectations of silence in a shared space. If comfort is the only metric, then should airlines also segregate by body size, perfume use, or political conversation? The argument collapses when taken to its logical conclusion. Moreover, critics overlook how much effort parents already make. They pack snacks, toys, tablets, headphones. They soothe, rock, distract. No parent wants their child to cry mid-flight. Painting families as inconsiderate ignores the reality of parenting in public. It's not entitlement, it's survival. Child-free flights may sound like a compromise, but they open the door to tiered citizenship. Will we also have flights for no loud talkers, no seat recliners, or no babies under 6 months? Instead of banning groups, we should improve the system for all, with family-friendly seating, better soundproofing, and empathetic airline policies. Inclusion doesn't mean forcing everyone into the same box, it means recognizing that noise, difference, and disruption are sometimes part of being human. Our society isn't civilized because it silences the inconvenient, it's civilized when it embraces them with patience.
Moderator's question. If airlines had to pick one option, either allow children on all flights or ban them entirely, which choice would be fairer for society?
Banning children from all flights would be the more responsible option under such a binary. Air travel is a high-stakes, enclosed environment where emotional and sensory stability matters. Just as certain animals aren't allowed in cabins, young children, particularly infants and toddlers, may not be suited for hours in pressurized confinement with limited mobility. It's not about exclusion for its own sake, but about minimizing disruption in one of the few spaces where people can't escape noise, mess, or unpredictability. Adults with urgent needs, health, business, grief, sleep, should not be forced into a sensory endurance test, because society refuses to draw any boundaries. If we must pick one extreme, it's better to protect the peace of the many than to insist on the inclusion of the few at everyone else's expense.
Allowing children on all flights is not only fairer, it's fundamentally humane. Children are part of society. Banning them from air travel punishes families and limits access to the world for the youngest among us. It sends the message that public life is only for the quiet and compliant. Instead, we should foster empathy, design better planes, and normalize coexistence. Adults are not entitled to a child-free world. They're entitled to reasonable comfort, and that can be achieved without erasing families. A tolerant society doesn't eliminate inconvenience, it adapts to it. That's what fairness truly looks like.
Thanks for watching. Now it's your turn. Let us know in the comments who you think won this debate. Don't forget to cast your vote and tell us why. And if you enjoyed this content, make sure to hit that subscribe button. More debates are coming your way. See you next time.